Welcome back, everybody, to the Feather River Canyon. Today is July 23rd, 2019. 3 years after Joe Warner here puts up the first module with a visit from my Seattle crew that week for Train Week. So it's been 3 years, and I wanted to give you a quick update. We've made a lot of progress. Here, you recall from the last video, we now have our dispatcher panel up and running. We will be doing some additions to that. Will always be ongoing, but that is working really well for our op sessions. Coming into the layout room, for those that haven't been here before, welcome. It's got some new artwork on the wall, a lounge, and on the other side a nice workbench. 2 aisles, both 4.5 to 5 feet wide. Staging is on the right. So upper or lower staging is typically where most trains start, although some do start out elsewhere on the layout. We're conceiving a downtown Oakland with skyscrapers to cover those posts. We are now exclusively using Wi-Fi throttles. Down at the east end of the staging yard, we now have an industrial area, the Fremont industrial area, that includes a paper mill here. Those back tracks are related to the Tesla plant, which will run most of the length of this area. There's a scrap dealer there. The support post here will be a cell tower to hide the big screw hardware. Down here we have a finished lumber. That'll be a nice destination for cars coming from other destinations on the other industries on the layout, a flour mill, and just a general warehouse, a catch-all for a lot of things. Port of Oakland, this is another merchandise building in the front that's a source for the local, which will come out of Stockton. We call it the Bay Area Turn, BAT for short, which makes the engineer Batman, I suppose. And that'll be fun to bring cars out, switch everything along the way, and then go back to Stockton. The boat is in port, and lots of details and things to do on this area. Here is some of the roughed-in scenery. Shouldn't take too long to add details, tunnel portal, trees, etc. And that is the next stage of the layout to get the scenery going, as I have hit the magic milestone of completing all the track work, both mainline and sidings. Here we have a big industry, Kabasi Coal. It provides coal as an inbound, so we would deliver empties, as you see there in the foreground, and those empties would come out of the power plant on the other side. Vice versa, full coal loads would come into the power plant and come out of the coal mine here as if they had been loaded. Have a couple other buildings on site which would provide some additional switching and the diesel diesel to run the plant. It comes across here, Greenville Trestle, cuts under Highway 580. We go around the corner here and we run into the newly finished Stockton. We now have lots of industries here in addition to the main classification yard. We have an Amazon fulfillment center. In the back there is the Port of Stockton, a Duraflame plant, and of course these are just mock-ups just to get some spacing and sizing. This is going to be a cement plant. We have a wood treatment plant, which is a nice destination for wood to be treated that comes out of the lumber mill. In the background you see 2 tracks. Those are the BNSF staging tracks that will come onto the layout at BNSF Junction. Here we have a small industry I needed there called Tanker Wash. They actually wash the tank cars for different uses. JM Eagle Pipe Company. In the foreground here is going to be a small sanding and fueling diesel facility. I was going to have a much bigger one, but Stockton would never justify that big of an engine servicing facility given it's too close to Oakland, where they would probably do it at the end of the line. Arctic Glacier is good for the refrigerated reefer cars I have. You'll notice some mock-ups of the possible warehouse buildings. They won't be rail served on the left, so that the trains will run through the industrial area rather than just at the edge of it. Here's going to be a chemical plant. I found Pacific Ethanol in my search, but it could be anything related to the farming industry, and that is a huge part of the California ecosystem near Stockton. BNSF Junction, here's where the power plant will, the power plant will go on the other side of the coal mine. And here I moved the Highway 50 over and made room for this warehouse. In the foreground will be a classic car show at the drive-in, and then the older section of Sacramento will be here. Here we have the American River scene just roughed in. That'll be a nice wide river. I'll probably put kayakers and all sorts of crowd-pleasing things there. Coming into Oroville, we now have our industries all sorted out pretty much. And the grain there, 3 classification tracks, Roplast. They make plastic bags. Sierra Pacific does like particle board, plywood, etc. And then a switching lead there that goes off. That track actually existed and was used to build Oroville Dam at one time. It's now a hiking trail a little bit beyond where I'm showing there, but it's useful as a switch lead for not interfering and fouling the main when they're doing that side of the main line. Here's the Feather River Spillway and the Oroville Dam. Of course, that's the one that's been in the news a couple years with potential spilling and the spillway cracking up. Here we have the gravel pit at Elsie. That's actually ballast that comes out of there for both BNSF and UP. So we get a little local, the Valley Flyer that comes up to Oroville and switches will come up here and take that back to the interchange. So that's kind of a fun project. This end of the peninsula is the lower level, transitioning to the upper level with a scene of the Feather River through here that will have the power plant here on the left, actually a hydroelectric plant for PG&E, and that actually exists just upstream from the North Fork Bridge. And here's where it comes around, and we have a very nice scene with the big North Fork Bridge that goes into the tunnel and pops out the other end onto the second level. And you can click on part 2 of this video and see as trains transition from upper to lower and lower to upper at Polga.